Hi everyone, this is Carol Cat here again for another Warframe Build video. Today we will take a look at Valkyr with Gloom Subsume from Sevagoth. A lot of you already know how fun Valkyr is. Being immortal and just slashing everyone in your way is really satisfying. I've made some builds on her before, one of them showcasing an augment called Enrage, which gives her Talons 200% damage and crit. The downside of this augment is your Hysteria gets a cooldown equal to how long it was active, and you're completely vulnerable during that cooldown. Subsuming Gloom turned out to be very effective for this setup, as Gloom will continuously slow enemies and give you time to wait out the cooldown or do other stuff like Inflicting status. The build is very flexible and can be modded depending on the level of your enemies and your playstyle. As you can see, this one here has 185% strength, which gives us 64% slow on Gloom. I know it's not much if it's just that, but don't forget that Valkyr also has her own slowing ability, which is Warcry. Affecting enemies with both has a speed reduction which is almost the same, if not the same as 95% slow Gloom. With our duration sitting at 68%, this also reduces the range increase per second of Gloom. But that's fine, as we won't need to cast this ability again and again, meaning it will eventually reach max range and stay at max range. For range, I find 160% to be the ideal amount as it lets me effectively slow enemies within 25 meters. This will only give Valkyr 16 meters of range for her third ability, but that's fine. Now for the star of this video, Valkyr's fourth ability, Hysteria. Using the Enraged mod really buffs up this ability. 200% additional damage and crit chance is very good, especially for an exalted weapon. Here you can see just how much of a difference this one mod made to her fourth ability. You'll cast your third first, which will stun your enemies. Then now you can cast your first and second ability. After that, as you can see, the amount of slow is very similar to a capped out Gloom. Once the enemies are slowed, you are now free to inflict status onto them or activate your fourth ability and slice them to shreds. I know there are players out there that doesn't like the cooldown mechanic of Enrage augment. It's totally fine to just use it without the augment, but the difference will be dramatic. If you've noticed, the config name I put on this one is Vacuum. That's because this config was originally for the Prolonged Paralysis mod. If you don't want to use her Talons and prefer using non-exalted weapons instead, Prolonged Paralysis will really help you out as it will enable your third ability to pull all affected enemies towards you. This allows you to CC enemies, group them, and allow you to kill them faster. For the Enrage setup, I find Arcane Energize to be mandatory as frequently casting abilities will drain your energy very fast. Not to mention, there's Gloom draining your energy every second too. Just use a maxed Energize and this should fix your energy problem. Arcane Fury, because we don't need more attack speed on Valkyr as she already has that buff. Having too much melee attack speed on any Warframe is actually not a good idea. You won't be able to smash that melee button fast enough to get a combo, and you wasted an arcane slot or mod capacity which could have buffed your damage too. The mods I use on her Talons is very standard. We've got Sacrificial Steel for critical chance and critical damage mods for those red crits. I'm using corrosive damage on this one as our test subjects are Grenier, but you are free to choose whatever element you like. I usually just mod them corrosive for Grenier, radiation for Corpus, and viral for Infested. One more important thing about her Talons is that even though you can't equip Blood Rush on it, using Gladiator mods on your melee weapon actually affects your Talons as well. You just need to pump up your combo counter with your melee weapon and the Gladiator bonus will affect your Talons as well. In my case, I'm using the Venka Prime, my all-time favorite melee weapon for Valkyr. Since we are using Condition Overload, a support weapon is also needed to do the job. You can use whatever weapon you like, as long as it can inflict status to your enemies. The best one for the job though is still Kuva New Core. And one more reason I like this one is because it's a secondary weapon, meaning I can use Amalgam Barrel Diffusion on it for faster dodging speed. Multi-shot on beam weapons, by the way, only works as a damage increase and does not help at inflicting status. So if you want, you can replace this mod with a 60/60 mod or Hemorrhage if you want. I'm also running Naramon for the Focus School, so I never have to worry about my combo counter. You can use any companion that you like. However, if you're going for sustainability, then it is best to use Jin or Panzer instead. Let me share a couple of footage I have on this build. This one is the Prolonged Paralysis build, which can group up enemies and make them easier to kill. This ability has a very slow energy cost, so I can just spam it as often as I want. This one is with the Enrage mod. While this one does have a better damage potential, it is also more difficult to use compared to the previous build. I made a Valkyr build before for SP, and I believe that one was better for endurance runs, but this one has more flexibility and mobility. Valkyr was already OP before, she has always been OP and it's just getting worse. I just hope the nerf hammer won't strike her anytime soon, or a lot of players are gonna be disappointed again. That's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. If you find this helpful, please share it to your friends, hit that like button, and subscribe to my channel if you want more. Feel free to follow me on Twitter and join my Discord channel. Links will be on the description below. Have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you on my next video.